Coaches, future coaches, how do you know when it is time to quit your job and transition into a coaching career? The question is probably burning inside of you if you're even watching this video. You are wondering how you're going to make ends meet, where you're going to get your clients, what are you going to sell them, how much your time is worth, all that kind of stuff. And you're also probably likely, if you're watching this video, feeling a little bit of the end of the story of you as a leader or an executive in the corporate world. Or maybe you own your own business and you're selling the business and you want to move into coaching. I wanted to run that question by somebody who I thought would be incredibly insightful, and that is Dr. Henry Cloud. Dr. Henry Cloud, of course, wrote the book Boundaries, which has sold tens of millions of copies. He also wrote a book, though, called Necessary Endings, and it is a fantastic book. In the context of what we want to talk about today, when is the time to actually leave your job and start a coaching career? If that's been a question burning inside of you, then I hope Dr. Henry Cloud has some insight for you. So here's our conversation. There are thousands of people watching right now. They have a career. They've succeeded in that career. It is not as fulfilling as it used to be. Maybe something happened, maybe nothing happened.
Which is normal.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of you still ride your tricycle? That was a big deal.
Well, it brings up a good point. They're watching this because they're thinking, I wonder if coaching is next. And they're thinking about becoming a coach. Based on your work in Necessary Endings, which I read that book 8 years ago, I think. Way more than that. But wonderful book. But what are some of the signs of, you actually do need to step down and maybe go into coaching or go into something else, but the credits have rolled. There's nothing worse when you live a great story and the credits roll and you're still sitting in the theater. And I think that's probably true for a lot of people watching this as it relates to their career and they're thinking about a coaching business. What are some of the signs, or what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about starting new?
Well, I'm glad that you're thinking about it before you do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a really good reason for that. One is, I think Necessary Endings starts out with this guy that he's driving to work. He just feels this kind of like you were talking about. And when you are in whatever you're doing, my hunch is, if you said highly successful, right, you're doing something well. What you don't know is if you're at some level where things are working, you are already a coach. I guarantee you.
Yep.
Because you scale something, you've got a team, you've got people. Unless you work in a phone booth by yourself, you're already coaching, because leaders become more and more coaches in organizations as they, get higher and higher up. So what I would want you to do is for a while, I want you to just keep a journal, okay? You already have incredible coaching strengths. What you've not done is you haven't looked for pattern recognition that you're creating every day. You might have, I wrote Necessary Endings because I found myself having the same conversation over the course of a year with so many leaders. I go, this is a pattern. And you're doing stuff that you do more than once. And if you're doing it more than once, that says that's a need, and it says that you're good at it. You just haven't labeled it and systematize it. So I want you to watch what you are doing in these conversations and what helps people. Okay, because what you're doing, if it helps people, that speaks to value. You're giving value. And right now they're getting it because you're in a business, but people will pay you for that value because it's real. First, you got to capture it. And then I want you to also look at what are the things you're doing in that scenario that is the next step of growth for you to become a better coach. And people will tell you, go to your direct reports and say, so what's it like to be on the other side of me?
That's a great question.
Yeah. What's it like? I'm leaving awake every day. My hunch is I do things relationally that might help you and some might get in your way. And I do things that get in the way of your results. Yeah, operationally that help you or get in your way. And I would start to capture all of that. So then you're going to find out what you do well, what you're not doing well, what brings value, what doesn't bring value. And then the next thing is, what makes you happy? Last thing you want to do is sign up to do a bunch of stuff that you don't like. So where are the moments that you feel like you add value, but you also kind of get excited about, because then you're going to love your calendar going forward. But the third thing is the value piece. Everybody wants to, a lot of times be a coach, but people are going to have to want to pay you for this, and people pay for value. So you have to figure out, what value do you bring? What value deficits do you need to build to your quiver? And those are the first things I would do.
I'm interrupting this video, but I'm interrupting it for a really great reason. I want to invite you to the Coach Builder Summit. The Coach Builder Summit is the ultimate growth event for existing and aspiring coaches and consultants. You're going to get 7 days of unlimited access to action-packed presentations and nonstop inspiration from 13 of the world's top coaching experts. I'm talking about Michael Hyatt, who created the Full Focus Planner, Amy Porterfield, who wrote 2 Weeks Notice, Will Guidara, who scaled up the #1 restaurant in the world, 11 Madison Park, Dr. Henry Cloud, the author of the book Boundaries. He sold like 20 million books. John Gordon, the king of positivity. I think he sold about 20 million books. Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetista. Christy Wright, who's the world's expert in speaking. Ryan Dice, who scaled up digital marketer, and much, much more, including yours truly, Donald Miller. CoachBuilder.com/summit is where you sign up. Once you sign up, you can start watching immediately, and you've got 7 days worth of access. If you're looking for inspiration, encouragement, and practical tips on making more money as a coach or a consultant, go to CoachBuilder.com/summit. Your future may depend upon it. What if there's somebody out there, they want to pivot their career, but they just don't believe that they're not willing to get out there and say, no, pick me. I'm the person for this. And what's advice you would give from a psychologist's perspective?
Well, I can do the psychologist piece, but I'll tell you, the personal piece was, I hate self-promotion. I mean, I just hate it, 100%, for a lot of reasons. But what happened with me was, and let's go back to the value thing. What's going to happen is, in your work and in your life, because a lot of this you're going to notice in your personal life, this coaching, that's where, a lot of times people become psychologists, because in their personal life, everybody's coming to them with problems and they like talking about it and all that. So what's going to happen is, people are going to start to say, you know what, that was really helpful. You really gave some good input there. I didn't know this until you told me that. And I want you to listen to where other people are calling out your gifts. Okay? And I want you to take that in and say, okay, I'll stop minimizing it. I'll say, no, it was nothing. People are noticing something about you.
Yeah.
That's the way that competencies get built, is by they're seeing, get to the psychologist part of this, our strengths and abilities get called out relationally as other people see them. That's why when your toddler starts walking, you go, hey!
Yeah.
We need to hear that for them to get solidified. So I want you to, first of all, listen to people that are saying, you really do A, B, or C well. And you got to get comfortable with that. Secondly, you don't have to go into self-promotion yet, because you can start to say, you know what, I was noticing that this isn't self-promotion, but watch how self-promoting it ends up being. I was listening to what you were working on and thinking about in your business. I've had some experience in that. If you want a second opinion or you want some input, offer it. So you're not self-promoting. You're serving
your
people.
Value. Right. An offer is not even your value. It's some knowledge in the world and how the world works that you really understand, and you're promoting the wisdom that you've collected more than yourself. And to me, that's also the way that I think we can move forward on that, is that you have a solution to a problem. Yes, you happen to own it, but it is a solution to a problem. Promote the solution.
Yeah.
And then walk in with it and promote it hard. I mean, actually just say, no, you guys, I'm telling you, we need to do this.
Yes. I just never sold anything.
Yet a lot of people have bought a lot.
They have, and you know how they do it. This will help you. It all comes from other people promoting you. The people that you have helped, okay, they will help you. And I would go talk to them and say, I'm thinking about doing this, and we've worked on some things. Anybody that might be able to utilize, what I can bring?
Yeah.
Because there's a proverb that says, don't let your lips be the one that praises you, let the praise come from others. It's always more powerful.
Yeah.
And so, having said all that, yeah, you'll probably have to get into marketing one day. And I hate it, but I grit my teeth.
Well, you could even use a CRM and automate other people promoting you through testimonials and just stick it in there and let it go. I think if you're pivoting your coaching career, Necessary Endings, read that book pretty quick. Before you get your first client, a foundational book that Dr. Cloud wrote is called Trust. And it's about building trust and the importance of trust. And when we talk about those soft skills, a lot of coaches have two insecurities: promoting themselves and building a business, and the soft skills of making sure they're delivering value. Trust is probably up there, top 3 books that you should read in order to set that foundation. What is something all of our coaches can do to build trust with clients? And what is something they can or shouldn't do to lose trust with a client? Building it, losing it. What's your advice? Knowing that it's a book. It's not a pamphlet.
There's actually 5 things. You'll find them in the book. Well, I'm going to skip past the permission to play stuff. If you're lying, cheating, or stealing, just forget it.
Yeah.
But I would start with the first 2 in the book. To win trust, people have really got to feel like you understand them. You're not persuading them. Because what leaders and a lot of your clients, they're trying to persuade the team, this is a good deal, we need to go here, this, that, you need to buy this car or whatever. You don't understand somebody when you understand them. Because we think we do. Oh, I know what they need. I know what they want. I know that this deal is good. I know this is going to be good for them. You understand somebody not when you understand them. You understand somebody when they understand that you understand.
Mm.
That means that you have really listened and you're drawing out of them. There's a proverb that says a person's heart is like deep waters and the person of wisdom draws out those intentions.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you can learn deep listening, neurologically, your client is just by you through attunement, through listening, through just being with and going to the next level, neurologically, without even realizing through mirror neurons and tones and just the biochemistry that takes place, their fight or flight systems are shutting down. They're leaning in to somebody who is starting to really understand them.
Yeah.
Before you persuade. Big deal. Secondly, manipulators and salespeople will be predators. Oh, I'm so empathic. I hear you.
Yeah.
You can get elected president. Remember when Clinton tried to cut? I'll feel your pain.
Yeah.
You can listen to somebody and they're going to move towards you, but quickly they're going to determine, who's this for?
Mm-hmm.
What's your motive? What's your agenda? They've got to feel like you are there for them. Now, certainly, every relationship, both people have interests. You got to get paid. You got to worry about your schedule and all this. But if they feel like your coaching is more important to you than their business,
oh, man,
or your template, or your method, or whatever, when they feel like, whoa, not only do they understand what I need, they want me to win. They get more excited about me winning than the check I write them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to feel that. And by the way, these are great things to know and do, but what we're talking about here is be a good human.
Yeah.
We're talking about serving people.
Being loving and kind and altruistic.
Yeah.
Which most
serving
of our audience
is everything.
Yeah. And most of our audience is old enough. They're ready to wholeheartedly go after that transition. They're ready to give back. a few things. One is the book, Necessary Endings. It's a great book if you're pivoting your career. Trust is an exceptional book. Boundaries for Leaders was a life-changing book for me. There's also boundaries.me. And if you feel like, you got some friends, some other coaches, a coaching community, but you want somebody to pour into you and give you this sort of wisdom, because you're going to have to dole out an enormous amount of wisdom. If you need somebody pouring into you, that is an exceptional resource.
Hey, I'm interrupting this video to tell you why I started the Coach Builder channel in the first place. And the reason I started the Coach Builder channel in the first place is because I kept seeing so many people who were worth more than they were being paid. I saw nannies who were aging out of being a nanny and could easily become a house manager for 4 or 5 different families and triple their salaries. I saw policemen who could easily go into a home and, as a coach them on how to defend their home, their security systems, their camera systems, their weapons, all that kind of stuff, and charge $5,000 and easily triple the amount of money that they're being paid as a policeman. I just saw this over and over. Teachers who could do side work in tutoring and coaching. Coaches who could actually do side work in teaching coaches how to improve their teams. People who are not being paid very well are often the backbone of our society. They're the ones who are giving the most, and they're not being rewarded. They could all start side gigs or full gigs as coaches. And so I started Coach Builder in order to inform them and help them do it. If that sounds like you or anybody you know, hit subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe, because there are a lot of people in our society who are worth a lot and they're not being paid. And by subscribing to this channel, you're joining a movement. We're making everybody very aware that they're worth more than they are being paid. So thanks for joining us.